the first patient suggested, oh, maybe this patient has less disease. But if you look at the lung ultrasound, that's not the case. Again, the base exam here, you can see here, you could mistake that for consolidation because it's gray. It has all these little punctures in there, but you don't see the spine continuing above. So this is not a consolidation or pleural effusion that's in here. These are lung artifacts from the peripheral pleura. Again, you can see here the midsection, you see the heart, so I'm close to the parasternal short axis view. You see a less affected area with an occasional A-line, and then you see consolidation, peripheral consolidation with all these marks right here. So that's an evidence of sort of a spared area here, B-lines, A-lines right there, and then consolidation even next to it. So classic for ARDS. And here again, the fragmented pleural line. So very clearly, this is ARDS, but again, is that the reason why this patient is getting worse? It's difficult to say. It could be. The pneumothorax, we saw lung sliding everywhere, not the case. So clearly ruled out. Switching to the cardiac assessment, you can see here, I did my subcostal view again, and now this is a little different. If you look at it closely, the LV is very hyperdynamic. It's small, you can see here. Compared to that, the RV looks big. And if you look at the TAPSE, the ring here, it's not moving as vigorously as in the prior patient. So there are signs that there may be RV strain and dysfunction. Again, subcostal, this is the liver, this is the pleural peritoneum. And here you have the diaphragm in between and the pericardial sac and then the heart underneath. I looked at the IVC, and again, here the IVC, again, it's plump. It's more than 2 centimeters. And you don't see these nice oscillations that we've seen before. So there's a sign that actually the RV preload may be excessive. And if you have the 4-chamber view, you clearly see the increased size of the RV. And here we measure a classic TAPSE that's an M-mode function going through there. And you can see that the amplitude here is very small. Normal is 1.6 centimeters. You can see that's less than half. A sign of severe dysfunction. And then ultimately here, you have a parasternal short axis view. You see a classic sign of RV strain and overload. You can see the flattening of the septum, the so-called D sign. So this patient clearly had evidence of increased RV afterload. This could be through ARDS and high pressure ventilation alone. But in this patient on the short axis at the aortic valve level, we actually did find a PE right here with a questionable clot in the RA. This is the central line that he had. So there was a high suspicion for PE. We did the vascular ultrasound, however, he did not have PE, DVTs at the bottom. So going back to our questions, we ruled out a pneumothorax. And yes, is septic shock possibly has increased leukocytosis and procalcitonin. Septic shock produces isolated RV failure. We know that from studies from Villard-Baron in France. But given the severe RV dilation and dysfunction, we're worried about a different etiology. And clearly we found it, the PE. However, these ARDS, the high ventilation pressures, are still able, and sepsis, to contribute to the picture. And what we did is we basically started heparin, we increased inotropy, we started Lasix, we decreased the PEEP, which is always difficult in these patients because it may make it worse, and we changed, broadened the antibiotics. So in summary, what I think in COVID, what we've seen is classic signs are really increased signs of increased lung density, confluent B-lines most of the time, ubiquitous spread. We did not see many consolidations in the classic sense, like the big ones, but we saw a lot of the peripheral pleural infiltrates, almost a hallmark of this disease. Thickened pleura with fragmentations, a lot of it. Rarely pleural effusions, especially large ones, mostly the small ones that I showed you. And pneumothoraces, they were not very frequent. I would say 8 to 10% of the patients probably developed them, especially if they were on the ventilator for a long time. But they're very important to keep that in mind as a differential diagnosis when the airway pressures go up. Also, I hope I showed that it's really valuable especially in COVID patients, to pair the lung ultrasound with an echo and a vascular ultrasound because of the COVID affects so many organs like the myocardium, like the coagulation system. And what we found as well is that actually handheld devices, the smaller devices that work with laptops or phones, work very well because they're less bulky, they're easier to clean. So a lot of people were hesitant initially, in our case, to use our traditional ultrasound machines more frequently, but the handheld devices made this a lot easier. And most of the time, basic scanning is enough to be able to work through a differential diagnosis list. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Panzer. That was a real exhaustive and a very nice lecture. Okay, we have learned a lot from your lecture, Dr. Panzer. Thank you.
Thank you.
And at this point, I think Mr. Joseph Kudyamat would like to present something, and he would be presenting the products of Wisonic for possible use maybe in the Philippines or in Southeast Asia or Asia. Okay, you may have the screen, Dr. Kudyamat. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Valera. I'll be sharing some PowerPoint for you to see our product. Hello, are you seeing my PowerPoint?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Joseph Kudyamat, and we are representing Wisonic here in the Philippines together with our partners, company partners, Gap Lab Solution and also GCMed Pharmaceutical. With Wisonic ultrasound series, we have 4 types of ultrasound: Piloter, Clover 60, Navi, and Labat. To describe Piloter, it's a tablet unit or a desktop that can also be used for trolley. It has a 30.3-inch touchscreen and it weighs 1.9 kilogram. It has one probe transducer port, but you can actually extend it to 3. It has a needle tip enhancement technologies, and cloud service for teleconsultation. It has a broad specs of clinical application like anesthesia, pain management, emergency, MSK, cardiac, and general imaging. Our laptop series is Clover 60. It has 4.9 kilos and 2 transducer ports, but you can also expand it to 3-in-1 transducer extension. It has a magnesium case, so it's more durable and lighter. Needle enhancement solution, education center, and cloud service for teleconsultation. It has also applications for MSK, cardiac, 4D, pain management, anesthesia, emergency, and ICU. For our Navi, which is basically used for anesthesiologists, it has a 19-inch touchscreen, electric adjusted trolley. You can also expand it with 3-in-1 transducer extension, and you don't have to worry about power because it has 7 hours powering batteries. We show teaching, recording, education center, and needle tip enhancement technologies, and cloud service for teleconsultation. Application: anesthesia, pain management, emergency, MSK, cardiac, and general imaging. And for our Labat, It has a full field focus imaging with high-end hollow beam platform. It has the latest hollow beam imaging platform, an AI technology for nerve identification, 6 hours battery, 4 transducer ports, electric adjusted trolley, and button probes. It has also cloud service for teleconsultation, education center, visual teaching recording, and needle tip enhancement solution. Applications also include anesthesia, pain management, emergency, MSK, cardiac, ICU. And these are the special features of all of our Wisonic ultrasound. It is the hollow platform, which has 3 sample gates to evaluate 3 positions in 1 heart cycle. It measures across spectrum in same phase, available on convex and linear, more accurate and efficient. It has also an auto Doppler, a 1-button auto Doppler, which adjusts ROI position and angle, PW sample gate position, angle, and size. It applies to vascular exams. It's easy to use, and it will save you time. And for more advanced models, we have a WeNerve AI, an AI technology to identify the nerves and muscles automatically. WeNerve AI is a multi-template BP at interscalene SC AX, femoral nerve and sciatic nerve. It will greatly shorten your learning curve and the cloud evolution more accurate. How WeNerve works. Needle visualization solution, WeGuide, magnetic needle track technology, and intelligent needle enhancement technology. And we also have our video recording feature. So you can be able to upload to Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, so you can get likes and or comments, and teaching lessons for academic exchange. So this is how our cloud service works. With our QR code rapid scanning, you will be able to share your clinical case through your iPhone, your Android phone, pad, and the storage is fast. And this will also can be used for remote after sales service. So you don't need to have an engineer on site, but we can actually give service remotely with our WeCloud service. This is our remote diagnosis. This is the real-time teleconsultation with images, videos, and audios, and real-time remote diagnosis via WeCloud. And with this system, our engineers or tech people will be able to remotely control your ultrasound, so the maintenance cost will be reduced. Our user peers. So thank you for listening. This is our contact bill, and you can give actual demo or hospital. So we will just give us a call or email us for any schedule for that demo. Thank you.
Okay, Joseph, thank you very much for introducing your products to us. Be sure to leave your contact number and email address to the Philippine Society of Anesthesiologists office, so a lot of the practitioners will be able to contact you. And thank you very much. Now we will proceed to the exciting part, the Q&A portion. This is always exciting in webinars, and I would like to. I have received a lot of questions, and allow me to read them for you. But first, I have a phone-in question, and I think this is directed to Dr. Cano. Is the skill easy to learn? And the